Warning, this video contains real supernatural stories which some may find frightening. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi guys, hope you've been happy, amazing and positive. Today I have for you guys a story time. Well, not story time, it's like a couple of stories in one. It's going to be about my paranormal experiences or things that I've seen. Look, this happened to me. A lot of you guys probably won't believe it, but for me and in my world, it was so real. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys don't believe in the paranormal. I do. Obviously, I was a little bit doubtful before, but once all these things started happening to me, I was like, okay, I feel like the paranormal world does exist. Just a disclaimer, I'm sorry if you get scared. You can click out of this video by all means if you're not into this sort of stuff. If you can't sleep, don't blame me. Just simply click out of this video and pretend like it never happened. The first story I have, and this happened like maybe 3 years ago now. I was sleeping in my room and we had some guests over from a different country. They were sleeping in my parents' room. So my mum was sleeping with me in my bed. It was in this room actually. My mum and I were sleeping and I woke up at I remember checking the time, it was around 3 o'clock, which is obviously ghost time. I turned over and I had a sip of my water and I just couldn't go back to sleep. And so I was just sort of waiting to go back to sleep. I played on my phone a little bit. And then I looked over to one of my windows and I saw this hand sort of come out the blinds, on the side of the blinds, and then it was crawling like that. It was just the hands. There was no arm or anything like that. It was just that much of someone's hand, and it came out of the window. And it went up to the closet door that I have right next to my window. So if you can imagine, this is my window, this is my closet door. The hand came out through here and it tapped onto the closet door like that. I heard the tap. It was sort of and then it just went out back through the window. I was so freaked out. Imagine seeing this thing. As it was happening, I sort of sat up and was like, okay, am I half asleep or something? But I wasn't. I actually saw this happen and I heard the little taps. Oh, it freaks me out thinking about it. I was stunned. I could not move. I was so scared. Even though my mum was sleeping next to me, I felt like I was not going to be able to move. I was sweating. I was waiting for the hand to come back out, but it didn't. I didn't obviously go back to sleep that whole night. I was really in and out of sleep. And then I just huddled up to my mum and I told my mum the next day what had happened. And she was like, what the hell? And then the same night, the relatives that stayed at my house, they said that they felt something in the house while they were sleeping as well. She felt really weird, like something was watching her or something was in the bedroom. Oh, why am I talking about this? I'm by myself, guys. I'm home alone and I'm kind of freaked out right now. So I feel like maybe something visited the house or something happened where we can't really explain. I don't know, but I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I couldn't make any sounds. I don't know if it was because I was in shock, but yeah. That's the first story. Second story is another time in my bedroom. I was sleeping and I had this really weird dream about this friend that I had. So in my dream, my friend was attacking me, but as he was attacking me, his head and his arms had sort of left his body and he was just this floating being. So I was laying down and he had swept me like that. And as his body was floating onto mine, I felt my body rise up from my bed.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I realized I stuffed up in my story. So what had happened was when my friend in my dream had floated on top of me, that's when I felt like someone had grabbed my ankles and pulled me down. That's when I sort of woke up from my dream state, but I could not open my eyes. And it was after when I felt this person pull me down, that's when I floated up.
I remember I had woken myself up at this point because that dream really freaked me out, but my eyes were still closed. So I was trying to open my eyes because I felt like something was happening to me and I couldn't control it. My body was no longer touching the mattress. It sort of rose up to about 30 centimeters and my head fell back like that as I was in this sort of weird position. Okay, so I was in this really weird position, and then after I really gently fell back down onto my mattress, and as soon as I did that, I was able to open my eyes. My head was like here onto my mattress, like it was halfway down my mattress. My head was no longer on the pillow, and I had to like sort of climb back up and put my head onto the pillow. It was the scariest thing that has ever freaking happened to me. Actually experiencing something like your body moving up, waking up and finding myself halfway down my bed. I was like, okay, this is really weird. Why did I wake up halfway down my bed? I had told one of my friends who is very spiritual, and he advised me to no longer associate with this person because there was something trying to save you. That's why my body sort of rose up. When my body was rising up, I didn't feel threatened. I felt really calm as it was happening. But obviously, whose body just floats like that? So I was freaked out at the fact that my body did that on its own. But when I actually thought about it, it didn't actually feel threatening. So after a while, I found out that my friend was actually a very abusive person to his girlfriend. He was physically abusing her. Third thing that happened to me was also again in my room. I swear to God, like something is weird in my room. I was sleeping and I woke up and I saw this old man. He was kneeling down and his face was like here as I opened my eyes. And he was just looking at me and I sort of flinched and he was gone. But I just kept seeing his face. I felt like I couldn't close my eyes because he'd be there staring at me. Nothing really happened. I just saw someone. I remember what he looks like. I've never seen him in my life. I don't even know who this person could have been. If it is some spiritual being that visited me that night. I haven't seen him since. Touch wood. Another thing that happened in my room, obviously, why would it not happen in my room? I was trying to get to sleep and I have this night robe that hangs onto my door. I literally saw the string of the robe float in the air like that. And then like I saw this happen. I saw it like floating in the air. And then it just like fell back down. I don't know what it was. Yes, it freaked me out, but I sort of forgot about it and went to sleep and didn't really think of it after that. At this point, I was really used to things happening in my room. When I saw little things, I was like, okay, whatever, this happens to me. I have to accept it. I just have to like let it go. Ever since then, I've been like lighting a lot of sage, a lot of incense. I've been praying in my room. Ever since then, not many things, touch wood, has happened. But I do believe that at one stage in my life, my house was eerily visited. Another really quick thing was I used to go to one of my old friend's house quite a lot during school. I felt like every time I went into one of her bedrooms, I always felt really uncomfortable. and the room itself just felt like there was like some weird negative energy. When I finally told my friend, she was like, that is the weirdest thing, because her grandparents used to think that there was something in that room as well. One time she had left me alone in that room and I felt like something was watching me. I didn't actually experience, like I didn't see anything, but the feeling in that room was really, really weird. Another thing was, I've lost count of how many I've done. Anyway, another thing was when I was dating my ex, his house was a really weird vibe as well. One day I was laying down on the ground on this mattress. He was next to me, sort of facing me, meditating. I was just like on my phone, and at one point I had looked up at him and he was like rocking back and forth like that, and his eyes were half open. He was so close to me that I could see his eyes. All I saw in his eyes were black. Completely, there was no eyeball. It was just black. So I sort of got freaking out. I hate talking about this stuff. I was like, do I run? Do I wake him up from this state? What is happening? What do I do? Do I call his mother? Do I start praying? What do I do? At this point, I could see there was like tension in his face. His vein was popping out from his forehead and he was rocking back and forth. Out of nowhere, he just burst out crying. Like, just out of nowhere, he's just bawling his eyes out. I was so scared. I never really quite understood what it was. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is a situation that happened when I was with my friend Taylor. We were at her house and we were talking about my personal situation that was going on. As we were talking, we were in this intense conversation. I was pouring my heart out and Taylor was listening with absolute 100% concentration. And as I was getting to the peak of my story, she had this vase that was sitting on her countertop in her kitchen. It was next to her sink, and all we heard was glass shattering like this. That was scary. That's never happened to me. I just wanted to quickly explain what I was experiencing. I saw this bird land on my windowsill and he was tapping on my window, and I've read about this before where it can be a really bad sign when a bird does that. I was getting really scared, and then I was just hearing really odd noises in my house after that, and I felt like maybe I was attracting a negative energy. So I just wanted to quickly wrap this video up and be done with it. Why do I do this to myself? Anyways, I'm back. That was really weird. I'm just gonna get this story time done so that I can stop talking about it, because I feel like sometimes when you talk about it, weird things start happening. So Taylor and I experienced this vase just completely blowing up and shattering everywhere. Her and I just looked at each other. Our jaws were to the ground. Our eyes were wide, like, what the heck just happened? Both of us were so shaken up, like, how did this happen? How does a vase blow like that? I just can't explain how that would have happened. I'm freaked out and I'm done with telling this story. So I'm just gonna burn some sage to like cleanse what the hell is happening. Hopefully this clears out any negativity that I have brought in by talking about this situation. Anyways, thank you guys. I hope you stay happy, amazing, and positive. All of these are 100% what happened to me. It still freaks me out when I think about it. I try to avoid thinking about it, otherwise I probably will never ever sleep again. If you have any questions or any experiences that you wanted to share with me, comment below. I really want to hear it so that I know I'm not alone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.